Hey everyone, welcome back to another weather forecast video. And today we're going to be doing things a little bit different. We're going to be kind of calling out all of the misinformation that's been going on about this new system that's coming into the United States. Usually I don't typically like doing this kind of stuff, but I feel like my hand is being forced here. The amount of hype that is happening for this next storm that's going to be coming in, not only just for the severe weather, but also the snow that's going to be possible with this. Yes, there's definitely going to be snow possible, but is it going to be, a massive snowstorm, a crazy snowstorm by any means? No, it's not. Oh man, this is ridiculous. You might be thinking, Evan, what the heck are you talking about? I haven't seen anything crazy about this. Everybody's been telling the truth. Here's one guy on YouTube. An Arctic invasion is coming. Yes, the Arctic is going to be coming into the United States and invading us, taking us over. No, some colder air is definitely coming. If you come over to the GFS and kind of push this forward, you can see what I'm talking about. A little bit of warmth will kind of hold on until we get into the 18th here, especially down here in the southeast. And then eventually that's going to potentially cause some severe weather down there near Texas. And then eventually we're going to get a decent push of cold air. I mean, we're talking about, 20s to 30s across the Ohio Valley, going up into the northeast. And then eventually, some pretty cold air is going to pop up over here in the northern plains, but we're only talking about 20 degrees Celsius. Let's go up and look at the Arctic and see if this is Arctic air. Okay, here we are in the Arctic. As you can see, it is negative 11 degrees up here in the Arctic Ocean. So as you can see, that is just a massive lie, a massive bit of misinformation. This air is not in the United States. This is a commonly used tactic saying Arctic blast or Arctic air invasion in order to get people click because they know that Arctic air is really, really cold. Here's our next bit of misinformation. Crazy snow with snowflakes all the way down there in what appears to be like Georgia and South Carolina. Crazy snow is coming for the United States. What's normal snow, right? And that differs between people. But this next storm is not bringing crazy snow whatsoever. Even the most bullish models are not showing crazy snow. But I mean, you can see right here why this person does this. 42,000 views posted a day ago. I mean, it's that video's blowing up. So if you crave attention and money, of course you're gonna put crazy snow on your thumbnail. And I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, Evan, it's YouTube. They have to lie in order to get clicks. Can you tell me one other, and feel free to comment it down below. Can you tell me one other thing in your life where that's okay? One other thing. That's all I'm asking. Well, sweetie, your husband's lying to you all the time. Oh, no. It's fine. It's fine. He has to lie so we can stay in a good relationship. Now, there is definitely a chance for snow. As we push this into the 19th, you can see that eventually, some snow's going to be happening up there in Canada. And then we are still expecting a low pressure system to develop over here near the Great Lakes. That will eventually bring cold enough air to bring down some snow. As you can see, it's not going to be some long-term, big-time, widespread event. If we come over to the models, you'll see why this is just such a ridiculous statement, calling this crazy snow. When you think of the word crazy, that means something that's way out of the norm, right? That's why it's enticing. You see the words crazy snow and you have to click, especially if your area is highlighted. This is going to be something so abnormal, right? Now, looking at the GFS here, pushing this all the way into range, you can see that we might get maybe 2 to 3 inches over here near Ohio, maybe 6-7 inches over here in Pennsylvania. Some of our highest snow totals will definitely be in the peaks of the mountains of the Appalachians. New York, though, is going to get a decent amount of snow, but in no means is this crazy snow. So we get closer to the Vermont mountains. Now, this is some pretty normal totals for the Vermont mountains. The good news is that all of these areas are easily equipped to deal with this snow. Now, if we were seeing 4 to 7 inches down here in the southeast, we would be shutting down. But keep in mind, this is the northern United States where they have infrastructure prepared for this snow. So although it is possible that we can see 6 to 7 inches, one, by no means is it a guarantee. And two, this is just a normal snowstorm. I cannot stress that enough. Let's compare and contrast. Maybe there's a model that's showing some sort of doomsday snow scenario, a crazy scenario here. Okay, so this is the Euro model, and as you can see, it's really not bullish at all here on this storm. Maybe 1 to 2 inches, maybe a little pocket there of 8 inches, dusting of snow all the way from Iowa, going down into Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, which we all knew was possible. But that's not crazy snow. Check one more model just to make sure that we got all of our ducks in a row here. So yeah, it looks like, some more normal snow here. about 3 to 4, maybe 5 inches, stretching from Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. But as you can see, the models are definitely disagreeing here on who is getting this snow, so keep that in mind. But there's definitely going to be some snow possible. I think it's okay to get excited, but by no means are we talking about a crazy, abnormal snowstorm. All right, and the next one is this storm is going to be causing big problems, huge problems. Well, not up here in the Northeast, we already know that. But then they have this big old orange blob highlighting like the entire eastern coast of the United States. And they're saying this storm's going to cause big problems. What's the tactic behind this one? Well, it's actually quite simple. You read the title, you look at the blob, you see your highlight, and you're like, oh no, big problems for me. Gotta click, gotta figure it out. But I can assure you that the mass majority of this orange blob it is not a big problem. And in fact, most of the folks inside of this orange blob are gonna be A-okay, I promise. You could make the argument that we have severe weather down here. Absolutely, absolutely. And, there's going to be some problems with that. That is mainly going to happen in this region. Now, we are expecting to see some snow in this area, but as we just went over, that's not going to cause any big problems, especially for the folks up there. It's just going to be a good, fun, normal snowstorm. So as you can see, the only area where we're really focused here for some potential big problems is from the severe weather. And that's just a tiny fraction of this huge highlighted area. But of course, if you want to get clicks and views, is exactly what you do. You lie to everybody, telling them that they're all going to have big problems, then of course people are going to click on it. I still don't understand how people get away with this stuff. It's probably because nobody calls them out. But that changes today. Speaking of severe weather, we do have some severe weather down the line here with the potential for tornadoes, some hail, and some damaging winds. It's going to be for areas like Midland, San Angelo, Brownwood, Abilene, Wichita Falls, and Altus. Then we've got an orange 1 out of 5 marginal risk. Not a big deal there, but I would definitely, be paying attention if you have any outdoor plans. This is going to be some rain and some thunder. Tornado risk, however, a little bit of a 5% here for most of the same areas that I said it for that slight risk. So just make sure you are paying attention. 5% tornado risk just means that there's only a 5% chance that you will see a tornado within a 25-mile radius. This is by no means a guarantee that you're going to see a tornado on your property, but I would definitely be weather aware as some of you guys in this little blob, if there is a tornado, might get unlucky. Now around that is a 2% for tornadoes. Not a big risk at all. Wouldn't really be worried about the tornado threat. I'd mainly be worried about the rain and the thunder and the lightning that's going to be coming from this storm. Also, the damaging winds are going to be possible all the way along this area. Same here. Actually, never mind. I thought there was going to be a hail risk. There was one yesterday, but it looks like they took that one off. Going into the next day, you can see we have a little bit of a wider area here where, there is going to be the potential for severe weather. But for the most folks that experience these storms, it's just going to be rain and thunder. Every now and then, there'll be a little bit of a severe thunderstorm warning. There's going to be the possibility for tornadoes, so we might get a spin-up tornado. So everyone from Austin, Dallas, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Springfield, Wichita, Kansas City should be somewhat weather aware for tornadoes. But your biggest threat tomorrow is going to be damaging winds and some hail. 5% chance for both of those things, with the exception of the 15% chance for some damaging winds near Waco, Dallas, McKinney. So are your average garden variety thunderstorms with a little bit of severe weather and a small tornado risk going to cause big problems for you? Most likely not. Last thing we're going to do is kind of go over the timing for the severe weather. Let's go ahead, push this all the way through until we start to see the storm. Where is it? There it is. As you can see, it starts off as a big batch of rain here. It's going to be hard for a tornado to kind of happen in this environment, as we're going to have a lot of little updrafts all competing for the minimal amount of kinematics or storm food and spin in the atmosphere that's going to be available to these things. As we push this into late night on the 17th, you can see that there is some organized thunderstorm activity. Instability is going to be very weak with this storm. Maybe a couple of pockets might get above 1,000 joules per kilogram. Short time, but again, it's not going to be long enough to really sustain much severe weather, especially with this storm mode. But you definitely cannot rule out that chance for tornadoes, given the fact that our lower level winds are pretty strong. Our upper level winds are getting organized, or decently strong, and that working with that tiny bit of instability, you might see a couple instances where a storm surprises us. So don't completely let your guard down. But as you can see, for most folks in this severe weather risk, it's going to be mainly just rain and thunder with the exception of a couple of severe thunderstorms and maybe a tornado or two. Pushing this further into the 18th as we get really early in the day, and thankfully this is going to be super early in the day, because if this happened later in the atmosphere, in like the afternoon during peak heating, this would have been a lot more of an impactful storm, as we would have had a lot more storm fuel. Going into 9 a.m., you can see that we have a line extending all the way from Oklahoma City down through Dallas, Killeen, Austin, just to the east of San Antonio. And that's going to be packing those damaging winds, the potential for some hail, and also a small potential for tornadoes. Looking at our instability, here's the big reason why these storms are going to struggle. As you can see, just not a whole lot of instability. Again, we want typically around 1,000 joules per kilogram, and we're not even close. Not even close. 241. It's about 25% of what you need in order to sustain widespread severe weather or a tornado threat. That being said, though, as you look into the lower levels of the atmosphere, there's definitely a lot of wind there, so cannot rule out a spin up even in a low Cape environment. It's not impossible. It's definitely something to keep an eye on, but it's not going to be a big threat by any means. And then our upper level winds are also pretty strong. I mean, this is a very organized low pressure system. If this would have happened during the day, we would have had some serious problems, because then we would have had a lot more of that juicy storm fuel for these storms. Thankfully, that's just not there, and so this is definitely not going to be its full potential, and it's probably just going to be mainly just a line of rain and wind for a lot of folks. And that's going to move off to the east and kind of die off as we go throughout the day. Some rain will eventually start to move into Arkansas, Louisiana as we go late night on the 18th. Going into the early morning on the 19th, you can see that rain and showers are going to continue. Potentially some severe weather could be possible on this day, mainly in the southern portion near like New Orleans, Jacksonville, Mobile. But all right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Do appreciate you guys showing up every video and watching and supporting the channel. If you like this video, thank you so much. It's a huge help out, helps us reach more people. And if you subscribed during this video, welcome. Looking forward to giving you more forecasts in the future. See you later.